So yeah, so yeah, and I hope you guys are doing really well. It's good to be back doing interviews again. I mean, it's been off for a month or two, not been doing any again, but I'm doing more interviews. So today I've got Dan for a band called Plastic Barricades, and so how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad considering the strange times we live in.
I know, and yeah, it's just everybody's like this. Gig's been cancelled and that as well. So, and so
Yeah, I feel it's high time for musicians to reinvent themselves and find new ways of reaching people and playing music and writing music and so on.
in a different way as well, and a different way, and that's what I mean with them. Gigs not happening as in concert gigs, and that they've been lots of them are not happening at the time being, but yeah, a lot of musicians are probably going into this sort of online stream gigs now to do. But I don't actually. I like to get to the physical gigs, like the gigs that we know that we need every gigs that you actually go and see bands play live, and that's what we need again. We don't want this to be. Don't want this to go away, and that you want everybody just to see all these bands again playing live. So, that's the fine at the moment, but everything should slowly get back to normal and that. So, we just hope we do get there, and same from here as well. Some of our bands as well are just not able to play. So,
yeah, I find with gigging, it's very easy to fall into this constant touring thing as well when you just gig all the time. And that takes a lot of energy and a lot of time. And we just, at some point, we found ourselves not really writing anything, not really recording anything because we were just gigging all the time. So there needs to be a good balance between gigs and recording. And the thing is, nowadays, you record a song and then it's up on Spotify next week. And then suddenly someone from like Brazil or Philippines or wherever else is listening to that song as we speak. And I probably won't be playing gigs in Brazil anytime soon, but I can reach an audience there. So I think recording is more important now than ever, and trying to get it right, trying to write good songs that resonate with people, even more important because I can't prove myself on stage anymore, at least for now. So, yeah.
But that gets so much exposure out there when someone puts a song on YouTube, and that it's worldwide. So someone from Brazil or from the United States or from Sweden or something, they can view that song and say this is a very, really good band. And I do agree. You guys, it would be good for you guys to come and play gigs into for a different audience elsewhere as well. So, like Brazil would be really good if you guys play. They've got at the time. If you guys, it would be really good when you guys if I did come to Brazil and play these bands. It would be a really good dream as well to get down there. But yeah, I do agree it takes time as well. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a silver lining. Every day I wake up and I'm trying to find that silver lining in what's happening because you have to stay optimistic. And for me, that's an active process. I'm optimist, but I'm an active optimist. I don't just sit and wait for things to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just the gigs will probably start again, and maybe guys will organise a sort of UK tour and that as well. In case the guys maybe been to Scotland and play some gigs up there as well.
Every time we play Scotland, it's just the warmest feeling ever because there's something special in the air and people are lovely and we really enjoy. We play both Edinburgh and Glasgow. We haven't really ventured further up north, but both times we were there were brilliant.
That's cool. So, and obviously, and whereabouts in Edinburgh did you guys play?
Uh, Bannerman's, I think it was
Oh
called.
yeah, yeah. That's one.
Um,
That's one. That's one of the venues. One of the sort of main venues. We get all the sort of metal bands that come along to that venue as well.
Yeah, I really hope that by the time this whole crisis ends, there are still some small venues left around the country, because it seems that they're in quite bad shape.
Mm. Yeah, hopefully, I hope so. And like missing these venues as well. And myself, I've not been to one since March anyway. So just
Yeah.
let's hope it goes sooner and later as well. And the sooner this is over, the sooner gigs will start again. And that's what I mean. We need to try and get out there and play concerts and that again. And
Mm.
so there's Barrowman's, and that's kind of like one of our sort of metal venues as well. Like we have smaller metal bands that come around the country and play that wee venue there as well. And other than Opium as well, which is a same another venue that we have in the city as well.
I think it's on the same road. I think we've played that as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
Opium.
that's another venue. That's actually on two. That's actually along a little bit. That's one of the one of the like the venues within two levels as well. So they have a pub and venue. So it's good. It's a good, really good venue as well. And been so many bands there as well playing there. So yeah, so that was just so this is obviously the interview. So I also got to ask you some questions then about about the band and that. This is what it's about. So, Plastic Barricades. How did he come up with the name?
Ha,
It must be
good
simple
question.
because you know.
So a long time ago, we decided that every time we are asked that particular question, we just have to come up with a new story. So if you Google Plastic Barricades interviews, you'll find dozens of different stories about the name. Yeah, it's all I can say is that both those words mean a lot to us, because barricades is something that protect you, but
Yeah,
then plastic is something that's malleable and can be changed. So that's just our view on the world, and that's why the name was around for a while, through different lineups and two different countries. Yeah, but no one will ever know the true story.
all you do when he sets up, it's like all the fences would just come up. Simple as that. But as you say, you would put like the band or the interviews in, it would add, or you would see you guys a bit more exposed as well. But yeah, I really how you came up with the name as well. I I played your last single in the show as well, and I played one for the road. That's is the other one that I think you released last year, I believe. Um,
Yeah,
so
that
he had
the
that.
first single of the upcoming album. That's been long due. Hopefully, it's going to be done by autumn.
Yeah,
So
that sounds good. I liked your previous single anyway. How we also added the metal. Obviously, Sam Riddle has been Sam Riddle Metal Soul is obviously a metal soul, but I do like to play some of the rocky bands as well. So
cool.
it's quite cool. That's what I do, and as me as a DJ on that station, and I play lots of metal bands in between smaller bands, and like maybe like bands like also really heavy bands, and you're like the sort of softer band in the set. So
Hmm,
like probably that time I played some really heavy bands during that time I played just single,
nice.
and obviously this week I'm going to play your new single Tunnel that's came out very recently as well. So I wonder if you want to tell me about that single, how you got that, how you
Yeah,
done that.
first of all, that holds the record for being our shortest song, which is pretty cool.
Is
We
that
we were always that kind of 4.5 minute kind of band,
yeah
uh, and then suddenly we have a 3 minute song, which I'm quite happy about. It's just quite a fast-paced song. It's one of those strange things when a song gets an extra layer of meaning after a while. So it was written last year before this whole things of 2020 started. And it's just a song about life being a set of roads and a set of tunnels, and then the main idea is that you go into the tunnel. You know it's going to end at some point. No tunnel lasts forever, but you can't really see the end just yet. You can't really turn back. You have to keep going forward. There's no other way. So you just have to live through the darkness and live through that fear of closed space and just hope for the best and look for that ending, because it's gonna come. So any difficulties gonna end at some point. And then suddenly this whole epidemic strikes, and then tunnel becomes this new layer.
So that's how you done the song then. This is like also the song called, also this is with the song like the light of the tunnel, the end of the tunnel, and that. It's something like that. I mean, because they do last forever as well. Tunnels and that. When you're on a, like if you're going like a railway tunnel, and like these massive bit like the Channel Tunnel or something, it lasts forever. When you're probably on the Eurostar, it goes down, it'll last like half an hour, and then you get the end of the tunnel in about half an hour. So that's, and then this is probably lasted about 4 or 5 months at the moment, but there'll be a light at the end of the tunnel of that. So we're basically probably halfway in the tunnel at the moment, more than halfway through the tunnel. Kind of getting away near the end of the tunnel, I think. Whereas the tunnel just rebuilds itself, and it'll just keep building itself if it ever slips again, and then that will come eventually, the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel, and then it'll eventually, we'll see the light again, which will be good. Being in darkness for like over 5-6 months or something, and then there's the light at the end of the tunnel, and then you can just see how much has changed in 6 months as well, if you think about it, and that as well. So that's how I kind of explain it. So other than that, there's another single then you teased as well. You teased me just before the call. What was that one called?
So that's called Optimist. That's our previous release. Yeah, so we have 3 songs out now from the new upcoming album. It's been quite fun to release single by single, because we can do a music video for every song. Been experimenting a lot with making music videos on the go with what we have, just like using the limitation of no budget and home production to the benefit of making something unique. Because I mean, how many more videos can there be where there's a band playing with a white background or something? I'm not gonna do that.
No.
Gonna try to do something different. Yeah.
Probably most bands, if you're doing the white background thing, sort of you putting your instruments in a white background and playing in front of that. That's probably a cheap option to do it, but what you're doing is probably what you're doing with that new video that you put in is different as well. And maybe like something else that come, maybe like patterns or something, other stuff could come along the way as well. I mean, with another video that you maybe have out in another song maybe as well. Yeah. So you never know.
With Tunnel Video, we just had this really cheap USB microscope that you just plug into the USB, click record, and it films. It's really crappy, low quality. So we had that for a while. We always thought that we want to do something with it, because it gives you like 1,000 times magnification. It's pretty cool. And then we started filming some stuff, and then we quickly realized that because of the low frame rate and a low resolution, certain very mundane objects start to look very cool and weird when you start moving them, because it just can't cope with the movement. So all the things you see in Tunnel music video, they're all real. There's no post-production. There's no like computer graphics. But some stuff, like in the bridge of the song, there's this thing that just moves around, and no one can really tell what that thing is. It's just a reflection of the light in a cup of tea, and the tea keeps moving, and the microscope is really struggling to capture that movement. So it's like really jittery. I like that quite a lot.
So it has like that sort of more sobriety as well or something.
Yeah, it's just a crappy camera and nothing else.
Sounds good. Sounds like it'll be a great video. I've not actually checked the one out, but I'll hear the song obviously. So and Stencil's PR, and I think you probably know that he sends me in some of these singles to play on my show, and that's how
Yes.
how I actually got to know you guys, and obviously your name obviously, and then just sounds really good when I hear some of your tracks sound really good. So I definitely agree. And sending me some tracks, sending me some obscure bands out there, and I'm getting them on the
Nice.
on the metal show, of course. So, and other than that, what genre of music would you guys say you play?
We like to call ourselves indie just
Yeah,
because we can get away with anything, because that's such a broad term. It's not really a genre. Um, I like to I like to reply that we like to play honest music, because I think that's the genre we're aiming for. Honesty. It doesn't really matter how much distortion my guitar has in the end. That doesn't really define the genre. I just want to write songs that
yeah,
are honest, and maybe even too honest some point. But I just don't have time for all the small talk and all that stuff. I just want to
yeah,
get to the point, and maybe someone comes to a gig, listens to a song, to a particular lyric, and then he or she tries to change something for the better about himself, because I believe that change starts within. And if we want a better world, we have to be better ourselves first of all, and then spread that. So that's the genre.
So it doesn't really matter just what you praise, what matters then. As long as
Absolutely.
it's really good and that and
Absolutely.
sounds really good, then that's all that matters. So yeah, I like the sound as well, and it's good sound and that when hearing the tracks and that. And once you release your the album, the EP, whatever it's going to be, and some in the autumn, and pretty much so would the tracks sound different, or would they have a sort of similar sound to each other?
So with we had released a debut album 3 years ago, 2017, and it was a very different time, very different album, very different songs. And I just feel like after that one, I wanted to do something much less complicated and much more authentic in terms of production. So with a debut album, you can only do your first album once. So we just overthought it a million times, and that kind of made us struggle with certain production 3 years ago. Here, we decided that we're gonna record everything in a shed, in an actual backyard shed, which is like 4x2. All the
That's a bit
equipment,
ambitious, eh?
all the
But
equipment is here. Everything is here. We also mixed all the songs here. And it's minimal amount of takes, minimal amount of edits, minimal amount of post-production, like minimal amount of computer added on top. So it's you could replace the laptop with a tape machine, and it would be more or less the same process. Um, and we just wanted to embrace all the limitations of that approach, and um, all the flaws that we have as humans, because we are humans, we are not robots, we are not perfect, and that's the whole point. Um, so I'm quite excited about this album. I think it's very human, and you can hear things that maybe a perfectionist would say are not supposed to be there or so on, but I disagree. True perfection has to be imperfect.
well, that's going to be amazing to do something really simple than doing it all high tech and that. Then just keeping it simple and doing it in a shed, that'd be quite easy to do, easy
Yeah,
going. And I reckon you guys can actually do it during this as well. You don't have to travel to like a recording studio to do all that. That's the thing about it as well. You don't have to like wait months and that until you actually able to get back in and do what other bands are doing. You have to wait until the studio is open again and that, and then that's kind of like obviously that's like your doorstep basically. Your garden gin in the shed is kind of and your doorstep and that, and it really helps as well when you also this as well, and obviously keeping it that way as well, and it's all like analog as well, so it's kind of like sort of 1980s or something. You think of it, it's a bit more like that sort of that way of recording as well.
Yeah. Most of the equipment here is from the 90s, except for the drum kit, which is from the 70s. So yeah, minimal software, so real hardware, and it works. And
That's good. It works.
It just gives me a chance to sit down and play the instrument without anything else on top. Focus on the actual notes, on the actual parts, and then just stick a mic in front of an amp, hit record, and go for it.
Yeah, that's all you need. And then you hear when I hear the singles. When I heard the singles, they sound very good, well produced and well done.
Oh, cheers.
And that's what I mean. And I think all these modern equipment is a bit of a waste of time, in my opinion. And these bands that are doing that, they don't. A lot of the albums sound not well. They sound a wee bit rubbish in a way. Some albums, and some albums sound pretty good. So it's a bit of a some mixed thing. And if you have something,
it's very hard work to be that perfectionist.
Yeah.
And it never really pays off because you're always chasing that perfect combination of things, and it's never really there. But it's all about the songs. I think the thing about the upcoming album, unlike the previous one, is that I can take an acoustic guitar and play all those songs on my own with one guitar, and they will still have the essence. They won't have the details, but they will have the essence. So that was the aim, to make them playable in front of a campfire or something.
that's what I mean. Simple as you can just take your guitar to the campsite or something and just play your songs like through. Simple as that. And
Yeah.
your acoustic guitar and that, just easy going in that as well. You don't have to save all put all your equipment in that and carry it all around. The rest of you playing gigs and that, and maybe you kind of have to go around with your gear and that as well. Then venue thing. I wouldn't say it would be too much because you're as not you as well, and your two-piece band obviously as well. You have another member in your band as well, don't you?
Yeah. So Paul is the drummer and producer, and we've done this latest album just two of us, which was a lot of work, but also a lot of fun because we don't have to wait for anyone to finish their parts and so on. We just do everything.
Yeah.
Paul recently moved to Paris, so he lives in Paris now, which makes collaboration a bit more complicated, but it still works. It's just 250 miles in between us and some water.
So you'll get there. You'll meet halfway or something, halfway along or something. Maybe like Cali or something. Do something in there.
Yeah. I think the distance is not so important. What the important thing is to when you find someone whom you can really connect with musically, you have to hold on to him.
Yeah.
For as long as you can, because it's very difficult to find people to play music with.
Absolutely. As in bands as well, including myself, I had same thing as well. Certain bands, you have to go through a lot of musicians to get the right one. It's not an easy going thing.
Especially with drummers, because I think that I truly believe that you can have a sloppy singer, it can work. You can have a sloppy guitar player, you can have a sloppy bassist, but you can't have a sloppy drummer. It's just all falls apart. So drums are the most technically challenging instrument of them all, and most important in any rock band. Yeah.
It's really the icing on the cake to a lot of bands as well. If you don't have that, then it's a bit of a, you're not really going anywhere as a band. And then you need to have that, need that as part of the icing on the cake for you guys to play together and make sure you guys are in time as well.
Oh
Obviously.
yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
and yeah, as you say, it's here as well. It's a bit hard for drummers. I don't think it's the thing I think about drummers as well is they have to keep. They're not really got any like exact places to play quietly as well. Pretty much. That's maybe something they're quite limited, and maybe the only places they can actually get there is going to a rehearsal room space to do it, and then come back. So just hire out of his health space and basically finish there. That's how they probably do their practicing. So it's a bit of a thing, a trek to get there. But some drummers may have to travel miles to get to their rehearsal space, and
Yeah.
others have them right to the doorstep. Just depends where the studio is and that as well. I mean, there's a drummer here as well that does a drummer here that has his own drumming studio as well, and he gets bands in as well, and so and he was actually our drummer in our band as well, the band we were previous in that we're defunct now unfortunately, but yeah, that was in our band we were called Mid, so we had him. He was our drummer. He's in various bands himself as well, not just in that band, but he's in a couple of metal bands around the country, around here, of course. Majority of the bands are from here. He's in. So yeah, I mean, it was a really good drummer. Kind of like Joey Jordison from
Nice.
Edinburgh, basically. Pretty
Nice.
much. He's got that. You would probably think he would be in Slipknot as well because he's quite tight. He's a very tight drummer. So
Here, I feel like I need to insert a message for all the future parents. Dear parents, if you want your child to be secure and successful, get him a drum kit, because drummers will always have work. There's not enough drummers on this planet. So please teach your kid drums.
yeah, that's what we need. I mean, I think I think some kids actually do that actually as well. Then there's actually a friend of mine as well has a kid as well, and he's using the drum kits. And so there's another one. It's one of my closer friends. He's got a wee kid that plays drums. So he's in. He'll be a addition to the drummers out around here. Of course, we've not got very many. That's what I mean. So that's the thing. And yeah, you need to kind of connect together as well as a band. It's not just that's the one and to stay and go, and it's kind of a slow burner as well. Bands, it's not like you guys in that you can go straight in and record, and we kind of have to wait until everyone arrives. So it's a bit of a slow burner. So pretty much. Yeah, I don't know actually. I don't know much else about bands myself. That's my last experience in a band. We played a gig. That was like the only gig we played as well. So it was good. It was an opportunity. That was in at Opium as well. We were staying there. That's the venue. So that's where we played. And so, as I say, I'm going to ask you more questions. This is what I was going to say. And got plenty of questions to ask you. So something I'll say is, you guys news or yourself and maybe your member as well. What instruments you play and basses? What do you play?
So because we're a two-piece, we kind of have to play everything we can get our hands. As I said, Paul is a drummer, been a drummer for years, but he is also a producer. So he has a lot of experience recording other people, recording gigs, and so on. So that's very handy because I can do tracking, so I can record myself, but I can't do any mixing or post-production. My main instrument is guitar and vocals, but I do bass for this album as well, and some synths and keyboards and all that. So it's mainly guitars, mainly string instruments.
Yeah,
and then Paul has this magical box of magical things like wooden blocks and shakers and maracas and all that. So there's a lot of little details and bells and whistles in the album, and they are all real and no samples, nothing that pre-recorded. So
not
actual stick hitting the thing.
yeah, not like sounds from the internet or something like your generics. Just sound
What's funny? When you listen to One for the Road, in the very first couple of seconds of that track, you'll hear the door of the van that we used to tour with, and the engine starting and the van pulling away, including the rattling of the steering rack when it pulls away, which is quite funny. We just got rid of the van on Friday, which was quite a sad day because it was taken away to be demolished. And I received an email today, which was quite a metal sounding email that says certificate of destruction. Yes.
Right, it's quite a metal one. That's a metal.
Quite a metal one.
Do a song for that as well.
So our dear Ford Transit van is forever immortalized in One for the Road. First 10 seconds of that track.
I heard it when I played it. That's what I heard when I first put it on. I heard the door slamming, and then then you starting up. That was it. And so that's a shame about that. And using your van, that's like your sort of pride as well. Like you're connected to your vehicle and that as well.
Unfortunately, London is not really friendly when it comes to big vehicles, small vehicles, any kind of vehicles. So because you're just stuck in traffic all the time, and it's very narrow.
Yeah.
And,
pretty much everybody's just turning into sort of an eco heads now with their bikes and their
that's
EVs.
the only way to go, really. Yeah. So
you won't even get your route masters in the road anymore. That's the thing. Pretty much the history of all these historic vehicles are just going to be exempt for it now. They're not going to be able to come into the city anymore.
Yeah.
Like your old cars and your old classic cars and that, you won't even get drive them into the city anymore.
Yeah, but I guess that's the only way to have clean air here anyway. So I'm fine with that. I made sure we got rid of the van in the most eco-friendly way possible.
So
it's probably gonna become a washing machine or a toaster or a microwave at some point.
I think it will be pretty much. Probably all vans like that will just come toasters and washers and dishwashers, anything. Got a white anyway. It's white van man or something. Thing saying white vans will be white washing machines or toasters or dishwashers. That's what I mean. You can do lots of things in metal. Not as in metal in general. Metalheads as well, and don't know what we do as we recycle ourselves. We kind of don't have that physical as metal as in the music way. I think everyone will be. I think I can't really actually have an exhibition what I could say about us as metalheads, but I know metal in general can be used and recycled. So.
I hope that at some point in the near future we can finally get rid of all the single-use plastics, and then I promise I'll drop the plastic from the plastic barricades and just do barricades.
Call it barricades now, not having plastic in it anymore. The only van won't be plastic anymore.
It's gonna recycle all the plastic and keep the barricades.
Unless you call it another barricade, maybe call it paper barricade or something. That'd be a new name. I think nice. the name's really good actually. What you got, Plastic Barricades. I like the name. I always like that. It's a good name what you got.
We used to lug some plastic barricades around on tour as well. So we had them on stage, like the traffic cones kind of thing, with some light up. That was quite fun.
That's probably that's how you got it, I guess. So maybe
the cool thing is that when you lose a prop like that on tour, it's very easy to get another one. So open the door on the motorway, pick a cone.
Get on the roads from the wood racks or something. If you like ones that just fall in the line or something, you can just pick one up and put it in the van or something.
Exactly.
Couple in the van. Plenty of them around. Easy to get. Just just take them off this sorts in sight and take them with you and use them as props for the stage. And so I think that's a cool thing, and cool to have something like that. Some bands just do different things as well. They don't always keep the same things. They just do so much different things as well. Obviously, a lot of bands usually just go for the sort of smoke and fire. I think the fire is a bit popular with sort of heavier bands. But so many bands out there do that. So, as I say, and would we say any more, if anything, about the music equipment question, or should we ask another question now? Another question. So, what are your hobbies and interests? Hobbies and interests.
What's the question?
Sorry, you delayed or something, I think. Sorry, I was asking the question, the music equipment. We finished with that question, and we'll move on to another question.
Sure.
So, what are your hobbies and interests? Hobbies and interests. What do you enjoy doing apart from the music?
So, I think after spending a lot of time in a music studio where you have millions of things that have to come together in order for a song to appear, I really enjoy writing, because all you need is your head and a laptop, and you can be anywhere and you can express. There's no limitations. You can do anything. So I'm halfway through a novel. Hopefully someday that's going to be finished. And I like that limitless possibility of literature in general. Yeah.
So you enjoy about writing then, and just the handwriting, not the typing up thing that most people do these days.
Writing and reading, and even the books I've read 10 years ago, rereading them now gives me a new layer of meaning, and that's the beauty of a good novel. You can read it several times and find new things in it. I like that. I mean, I'm a big fan of visual art as well, but unfortunately I can't really draw or can't really take pictures, so I'm not a visual person. But I do enjoy going to an art gallery, which I really miss now when everything is still closed.
Yeah.
But as soon as it opens, because thankfully in London you'll never really run out of places to visit in terms of art and culture. I love that.
That's good. And we here as well, we have some art galleries as well, and I enjoy a wee bit of the art, but I don't actually do art. Back in my school days, I did a bit of art stuff, which is probably where I learned a wee bit more. And I used to do sort of I don't even remember what I did back in my school days. That's a long time ago. I did some sketching in that as well. Did a bit of tracing. I used to do a bit of tracing in that as well.
Nice.
I did like a sort of project thing that I did as well while at school. Sort of me as a rock star thing. I had a big massive picture frame for it as well. So I did something like that. That's how. So as me, I don't do that these days now. And I wouldn't that, and what else? And I enjoy a bit of playing console, and that's like PlayStation, a bit of that. Enjoy a bit of play a wee bit of that gaming console, gaming stuff.
I couldn't really get into games. I've tried many times, and I still occasionally try to find a new game and play it, but I just find myself lacking patience, especially if it's like a more difficult kind of level and I have to like keep doing it over and over and over again. I just get bored in like half an hour and drop it. The only game I really enjoy and don't really get bored of is GTA 5, which is mainly because you just roam around and do whatever you want, and there's some nice cars in there. So I like that.
So the Gran Turismo stuff and that. and
Yeah.
you just drive in that as well. And
Yeah.
it's a bit of free roam as well. If
Yeah. Yeah.
if you ever do that, I like about the racing stuff as well. You
Yeah.
just then find a level and you just drive your car around anywhere, and you can just do some donuts somewhere as well if you fancy that. Just
Yeah.
it's the only thing that you don't have. The only thing that you can just do like a sort of thing if the car, like racing car, if like racing the cars either. So
Yeah.
it's a thing.
Yeah.
And I play a bit of I have on PS4 they've got like a newer also the newer Gran Turismo games, and I'm not sure if they're good as the ones you say back in the day, but that's my experience. The only game that we've got on PS4 is Gran Turismo Sport, and I think it's a good game in a way. I think it's very good, and I don't know what else I could say about it. It's just you can drive cars. I think they stopped the updates now, unfortunately, for the game pretty much. I think they're moving on to the next title. Basically, they're putting a follow-up title on the new console.
Mm.
And I do play. Other than that, I play a bit of wrestling games as well, and
Cool.
WWE games.
I remember those from like late 90s.
Yeah,
Those are quite popular. Yeah.
you got the sort of Snapdown, you come to pain sort of thing and stuff like that, and Snapdown versus Raw, PS4, and most of the games on PS4 are WWE 2K. In fact,
Yeah.
first game is W. In fact, all the games PS4 released at the moment are WWE 2K games. So pretty much, WWE 2K is probably not as good as the games as old games, but I mean, the thing is good. I mean, they're good in a way because you can create your own wrestlers. That's the thing I enjoy, and pretty much,
Nice.
so you can basically create. I can probably create you if you ever wanted to, if you wanted to be in the game in that as well.
Just without the glasses.
Improvise in that as well. It just depends what you can do, and if there's like the hairstyles and that is available as well, you can just create your own sort of wrestler and that and play around with them.
Mm.
Do like just do a lot of things. You can do like different mats types as well. You can set them. You can customize your matches.
Mm.
You can create custom arenas as well.
Wow.
And I mean, in general, the game's not too that generally you kind of do everything in the game, but I mean, it's good simple things that you create arena and create a wrestler. I think that's the thing I enjoy the most. Create a wrestler is probably the best. So I play a bit of that. And other than that, what else do I enjoy? I do watch a bit of TV as well. And I don't much TV, but I mean YouTube. Watch a lot of YouTube stuff and that various things.
And Netflix, which is crazy, they just have so many things on there. It's incredible.
On the tube we call it and that's the word you call it in the tube, and so plenty of videos. People just upload them. You kind of on YouTube a bit more than social media, and that's why I'm on a bit more. I mean, I don't tend to use much the social media as much as YouTube these days, but I mean, it's good to see what things are up on there as well. Stuff that kind of interests you as well. You see a lot of videos like stuff for like
It's incredible how many possibilities YouTube opens for people to express themselves, because you can find all sorts of things, and everyone has the freedom to find something he likes and then share it, which is brilliant. YouTube is definitely the best TV channel ever.
I think
it's gonna
so.
be hard to beat that. Yeah.
It's better than TV actually because you pretty much watch stuff on the telly on YouTube.
I haven't had an actual TV for the last 10 years. Just didn't have a TV.
It's very simple then, just go on YouTube and just watch all that stuff anyway. That's what I mean. You don't need TV, you can just put YouTube on. That's it.
Exactly.
So would I say ask you a few more questions about hobbies and interests and anything else you want to say about that question before we move to another one?
With hobbies and interests, I just want to address people who are sitting at home right now feeling bored, you have to fight that boredom. That's an active thing you do. And I think this whole lockdown maybe helped some people to get that time to find a new hobby and to find ways to express themselves, because all the troubles start when people are bored. You get alcohol, you get drugs, you get all that crap when you're bored. So do whatever you can to not be bored. We are lucky because we play music. I'm never gonna be bored ever again in my life because it's just such a limitless world of possibilities.
Yeah, you got your stuff there anyway, so I know you're kind of ready for it as well.
Yeah, and I used to work as a journalist, and I used to test drive cars as well. So I had that passion in my life with automobiles and all that. But now I feel like after 6 years of being a test driver, I owe this planet a small forest.
And do you get out to the? Do you enjoy a bit of walking, outdoorsy stuff as well, and a bit of a? I'd like to do that as well when I'm a bit bored as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's quite important, and it clears your head a lot.
Yeah.
But I just find myself having to plan my weekends and plan my days off, because if I don't plan them, I'm just gonna work, because I love my work, but I have to get out of the studio at some point, and that needs to be a conscious effort on my part to plan my day, to go for a walk, to do this, to do that, and try not to think of the songs, because the thing is, I sometimes just can't get the music out of my head. I can't sleep because of that, because it just keeps playing on repeat, trying to figure itself out. The thing I discovered in the last 6 months, and I really highly recommend it to anyone, especially the anxious types. The thing I discovered is meditation. Just 10 minutes a day of sitting still, breathing, following a certain guideline really helps. I feel much better, much calmer, and much more focused just thanks to that.
Good stuff. So I mean, I'm a bit walking kind of helps me a bit more as well. That comes to my opinion as well. My outdoorsy stuff kind of helps me, keeps me a bit calmer as well. And then usually when I'm just sitting in, usually it's a bit sort of thing you want to just get yourself out there and get yourself for the walks and that. So that helps me, helps clear my head out as well. But yeah, I think I won that, and yeah, I enjoy outdoors. I enjoy the walks and that as well. So yeah, I think that's all we can say about this question now. So we'll go to another one then if you're ready.
Sure.
So yeah, how do you guys perform live?
So we haven't figured out how we're gonna play this album live yet. There are definitely ways of making sure that all the details are there. We didn't really have the time to figure it out yet, and then the lockdown struck, and now there's just no gigs. So I tried to finish the recording and then solve the problem of playing live when the possibility appears. We were hoping to tour in autumn to support the album, but at the moment it seems quite unlikely. But we'll see. We're staying optimistic.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And sooner the better. That's what we want. So, I mean, yeah, just getting a good one. You guys can come back here one of these times, and I'll see if I can get one and see play again.
Scotland is always on our list every time we go touring. It's an essential place to visit, and it's just so beautiful as well. The drive, like from Newcastle up to Glasgow and Edinburgh, is just gorgeous with all the sheep and hills and everything.
Yeah, beautiful. it's a bit nice, and then you get to Dunbar and you get to like Berkhamsted and that from that direction as well. These smaller towns and that, when you get past Newcastle, it's not as you're not going through cities after that until we get to Edinburgh.
Yeah. That's
So
very, very cool. Especially when you have 9 people in the van with like gear till the ceiling, and then you go uphill and you're like, come on, you can do this.
so
That's good fun.
pretty much it must then take its time to get up the hills then.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Nice and slow, nice and steady.
So you got a new van then? If you got rid of the Transit, then there's a
Uh,
new van on.
So we decided that we're just gonna rent out a van with a driver, because playing a gig and then driving for 5 hours after the gig, it's just yeah. I think I've paid my dues as a driver, so I think next time we tour, we're just gonna have someone drive us
So
around.
pretty much they'll get them to do it, and then you guys will probably there'll be like a wee seat. There'll be like a wee sort of seating aisle. You guys will sit behind the driver.
Yeah.
They'll have like sprinter
Hope
vans.
we get some sleep as well. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll have like sprinter vans or something that they'll use. So they're probably quite a bit hefty than the Transits. They're bigger as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like
The dream is to do American tour in a sleeper bus. So like a big bus where you have bunk beds, and then do the whole of America in, I would say, 3-4 months. That
that'll
sounds
be
like a nice tour.
that'll be proper stuff anyway. Getting one of these bigger like RVs, I think they're type things like.
We're just sitting and waiting till America gets its shit together and starts being a normal country once again. Because I mean, what's happening? Come on.
Same. They're dealing with the same situation as everyone else is, and pretty much. Well, they're probably worse, I guess, at the moment. But hopefully they'll be hopefully get their stuff sorted out and get back to normal eventually as well.
Yeah, it's just like as soon as you hope that there can't be any more idiots in politics, suddenly more idiots in politics. It's like, where do they all come from?
I don't know.
It's like a school of idiots somewhere where they all learn to be idiots. I don't understand this.
Yeah, to get all this stuff sorted out and that, get all done and dusted.
But let's not get into politics. That's not a long interview for like
No,
5 hours long rant.
yeah, we
Not
don't
that.
we'll make it like that. This is the interview also. We do
Yeah,
like a wrestling sort of thing as well.
exactly. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I did that with a previous band actually. I was talking to about half the time wrestling, and so pretty much I
Nice.
could talk about wrestling most of the day as well. After this conversation, I'll take up wrestling,
That's
and
pretty.
we have a couple of wrestling shows in here as well. Not big wrestlers from here, but we have a couple of wrestling shows. Most of them have been cancelled as well, so we've not been doing much of that. And wrestlers here. WWE is still doing their wrestling. Obviously, they're pretty much doing their shows, but over here, they're not really. A lot of the wrestlers aren't even doing any wrestling, so we're quite quiet and wrestling wise. And ICW, which is a sort of flagstick wrestling promotion, I guess, in the UK maybe, and the Scottish one and Glasgow-based one. They've got some good stars in there as well. They've got Drew Galloway, Drew McIntyre when he's in the WWE now, but he was in ICW, popped in a couple of years back as well. He made a return and he's back in WWE again, apparently. Back to his Drew McIntyre gimmick, as you say. So yeah, and wrestling wise, there is a few wrestlers from here as well, but not like as in wrestlers. We don't have like wrestling training places in the city, so maybe it makes it a bit more difficult. Maybe the west one seems to be quite small in this country. In Edinburgh, the west one seems to be quite small scene. It doesn't really travel far. IQW is probably the main one because obviously I think the majority of the wrestlers are from the city, from Glasgow. There's some of them that are from. I don't know actually. I don't know if there's some of them are from Edinburgh, like Joe Hendred or something. He's one of the Edinburgh-based ones that I know. There's one of my school friends says he was a wrestler as well. This is cool.
Nice.
I saw him actually. He was like a small promotion. There's this promotion from then Revinston that came to Edinburgh, and they had then. In fact, no, I think I did see Joe Hendred then West One and Discovery West One actually. Yeah, Discovery West, and I've seen him when he was there. So I've seen him a few times. Joe Coffey as well, and not Jack Jester. We'd like to see him. He's fun as well. Don't even know if he's in ICW still or not. And he was one of the small. He's one of the sort of ones that are quite known to the scene. I mean, yeah, there's my friend at Westers as well. He's fun here as well, and my old school friend that I used to know as well. He's a wrestler, and I think he wrestles in the Livingston promotion as well. Not in ITW, but Livingston one. And so I think that's the only one that's quite close nearby, pretty much, because a lot of the West One promotions aren't really based in Edinburgh. So so that's the nearest one for Edinburgh is the Livingston one. So yeah,
nice.
West One's kind of not really. There's not very much West One shows in the city as much. There's a couple of the small ones, but I never see ITW coming along to here as much. I mean, Discovery Wrestling is probably like the sort of bigger one that some of the ITW wrestlers do come along. Like there's the other ones that I'm thinking of as well, that are quite good as well. There's Kings of Cats, I believe they're called. So there's a few sort of factions, tag teams as well. So yeah, that's just my wee sort of briefing out wrestling. So and so I'll maybe just ask you getting more questions, and I've got a few more questions to ask you before we round the interview off. So about 4 or 5 questions. Is there more music on the way, and when you're releasing it? New music on the way, and have you got plans to release it anytime soon?
Yeah, so we're gonna finish the album, so that's gonna be out in autumn. That's gonna have 12 tracks, and yeah, 3 singles are out now. Gonna be more music videos, more DIY weird stuff happening. Yeah, people keep asking us, when are we gonna be playing instruments on a white background in a music video? The answer is never. It's not gonna happen. Yeah, so we're focusing on finishing the album. We already have songs that are probably gonna be on the next one. So it's just constant process of writing and figuring out how to record it and then releasing it.
Yeah, well, it sounds really good. You're getting a full album right as well, and then maybe an idea for the next music video should be like a garden video or something. Like maybe you and the drummer playing together in the garden. That might be.
Yeah, it's, we actually did a acoustic version for Tunnel, where you can actually see the studio, and it's all recorded live, like a stripped version of Tunnel, which you can find on YouTube as well. It's out now. Yeah,
I'll check that out actually. Right, I've not yet checked stuff the live stuff out, but I'll need to check you guys out live on YouTube to see what you guys sound like as well. So that sounds good. But I think that's a good video. Garden video would be maybe ideal for your new track.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I think your video froze. I can still hear you. I can't really see you anymore.
So what song? My video frozen.
Yeah.
It should be fine. If I'm still speaking, it'll still be fine.
Okay.
And so yeah, that sounds like a good that sounds like a good track. And I'm going to ask you another question. And have you got plans for a mini tour? And who would you like to support?
Oh, so we have this 2 dream lineups, and 2 because one is a heavier one, and the other one is like a softer one. So the heavier dream tour of all time would be Plastic Barricades supporting Foo Fighters and Biffy Clyro. That would be our dream tour.
That would be actually amazing. You guys could open up for them or something, and then.
And Biffy Clyro, just my favorite Scottish band of all time.
Yes.
They're just incredible, and they are so humble about it as well. I love it. They are super successful, and they're just these three guys that every time I see an interview, I just adore how humble they are about the whole thing. Brilliant.
Do you know you then? Do you know he's a band then? Have you heard, Biffy actually heard of you guys then?
I sure hope so. I can't really confirm that, but I sure hope so.
Yeah,
and then
so too as well.
then Foo Fighters. So if you look close, you see
David Grohl.
Yeah, looking over. He's definitely someone I feel a strong connection with, because I grew up with Nirvana, and unfortunately Kurt is no longer around, but Dave is. So my aim is to have a cup of strong, nice coffee with Dave Grohl at some point.
That would be amazing. Meet him one day. See him. Have you ever met him before?
Unfortunately not. We had a chance, didn't really work out. We were close by, and they were playing a surprise gig in London. But it didn't work out. But hopefully soon, someday soon.
Yeah, it'd be good to meet your sort of celebrity metalheads, like your celebrity rock stars out there. And myself, I've not met myself as me being a metalhead. I've not actually only met like one musician from a band called Revocation. They're like a death metal band, so they're extreme. They're probably too heavy maybe for your interest, but Revocation, and they're like a sort of techie death metal band for the United States. They actually came and played Glasgow in October 2019, so it's this last year. With Killswitch Engage, and there's a band called Tentside, I believe, they opened up, German band, and then we went to the merch table, and guess what? Who was there? It was Brett from Revocation, the bass player from the band, all drenched in sweat after his set, pretty much. So, and he's pretty cool. And he basically just came along. He basically just came along after he's finished his gig, and then I bought two of the albums by the band. So basically, he's taking the money as well, which is cool. So we had a photo together. So he was manning the merch table basically. So that was pretty much the only metalhead celebrity star that I met at the moment. I really like to meet some other ones. I would like to see the guys in Metallica one day, meet them.
That was my proudest metal moment when I did an interview with Metallica.
Oh, really?
Because they were playing an open air gig for 80,000 people, and they were doing interviews before that. I was lucky enough to be there. I was fun because I grew up with them looking at me from the walls of my bedroom, from the posters and everything, and then suddenly they are here in the room and like, oh my god! So that was quite. Yeah. I did a lot of interviews by then with a lot of famous musicians, but when Metallica came into the room, I kind of lost all my thoughts for a second, and then gathered myself together, opened the notebook, and was like, okay, let's do this. That was fun.
That was amazing then. So pretty much you probably got most of the albums then. And
yeah. And they had Bullet for My Valentine as a warm-up, so that was also quite epic.
Oh, Bullet for Valentine. And did you meet them before?
We did an interview with them as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And I'd like to meet them one day. Like Matt Tucker's a really must be a guy. He looks like he'd be a wrestler. He's the same guy. And he used to be I think I fell in love with his longer hair back in the day. He used to have these one. He cut his hair off years back now, but he used to have long hair and it was really cool. So, yeah. Oh, I think you paused then, pal. Oh.